It's the final Eurogoals of 2004. We begin in Serie A. Juventus end the year top, as even Shevchenko couldn't break down that legendary defence. In Spain, Barca have it easy, according to Mourinho. Not on Saturday, they didn't, against Valencia. All the goal highlights from Spain to come. In Holland, PSV slipped to their first defeat since March as the triumphant AZ take the winter title. And France's match of the weekend was a dust-up in the South. Lyon faced Marseille. Highlights from Portugal to come as well.
The biggest game of the season so far in Italy, bar none, and for Juventus it could have either been a 7-point lead to enjoy over the Christmas dinner with a win, or an advantage slim to just 1 point were they to lose. In the end, it was neither. But there will be plenty for Fabio Capello to ponder, as Juve were outplayed by the reigning champions here. Newly crowned European Footballer of the Year, Andrei Shevchenko, close in the first half. But what about this for an opportunity to win it 2 minutes from time? It was match point Milan at this point. But Andrea Pirlo stuck it wide. 0-0 it finished. Milan had won this fixture 3-1 last season. Not here, though. The first draw in this match for 8 years. Inter finished the first half of the season as the only unbeaten side in Italy, but they still find themselves 15 points off the pace. All those draws you see, although on Sunday at least there was the rarity of seeing Inter take a lead and hold on to it. Brescia were beaten here by Sinisa Mihailovic's 24th minute free kick. And for only the 4th time in 16 attempts this season, Inter tasted victory to move up to 4th. 4 wins in a row. Cagliari hit for 5 a few weeks ago. Parma hit for 5 on Sunday. Yes, this is the same Roma who in the early part of the season just didn't know where the next point was coming from. At times, this was like a training match against a sad Parma team. Cassano with the first 10 minutes gone, and the second 2 was an example of what not to do at the back, namely stand and watch and hope the striker doesn't shoot. There was never any chance of that not happening when Francesco Totti had the Roma goal-scoring record in his sights. This is 9th of the season, was his 107th for the club, edging past the mark set by Roberto Puzzo. You could rely, of course, on the referee to spoil things by booking him for taking his shirt off. Parma claimed a goal right at the end of the first half through a header from defender Cesare Bovo. Back to 2-1. But within 5 minutes of the restart, Roma's 2-goal cushion was restored. Totti to Cassano, that familiar combination. At least it used to be familiar. This was only the 2nd league match in which Cassano had scored this season, amazingly. And these were his first goal since match day 3. That was 3-1 then. It was a mixed day for Roma top scorer Vincenzo Montella. In the 52nd minute, he scored his 12th goal of the season, but later picked up a booking that will rule him out of the Rome derby on the opening match night of the new year. But Montella, or no Montella, Roma will go into this match, certainly looking at the crisis Lazio are in, full of confidence. Totti blasted another. 3 wins out of 4 for Roma, 5-1. Elsewhere, Udinese won again. Goals for Pizarro, Iaquinta and Di Michele. Palermo shooting up the table as well. They won 3-0 in the Battle of the Islands. Sampdoria won at Lecce. So Juve have the winter title. 4 points is the advantage over Milan. Udinese hanging in there. Atalanta missed the opportunity to gain their first win of the season. Their match at Messina was suspended because of bad rain.
Valencia won here 1-0 last season. This was a team in turmoil. 1 season on, right cards in match 75 tonight. He's developed his team into one of the most watchable in Europe. Ranieri's no fool against Barcelona either, though. He'd won 3 and lost 1 of the last 4. Stefano Fiori struggled to make any impact in this league. Was the hero of the hour. Oh, how they can't wait for Chelsea here. Barca have it easy, according to Mourinho, who have an arrogance bordering on hubris. Tragedy awaits them, you feel, when they come here. Barcelona were to face more controversy. 10 minutes later on, watch this. That was the goalkeeper, Valdez, just about to be sent off. Had the cheek to claim that he didn't actually handball outside the area. The referee needed the assistance of his assistant. And the ratification was fairly swift in coming, and off went Valdez. Ruben would come on to replace Xavi. Barcelona last won this fixture back in 2001 on a memorable night when Rivaldo scored a hat-trick. It would be another Brazilian who would come to the rescue for them late on in this game. Was it or was it not a penalty? Make up your own minds. Ronaldinho, it's not the first time he's done that this season. It was lauded in the press by Samuel Eto'o yesterday as being worth half of Chelsea's team. You look at his record this season, it's not too impressive. This would be goal number 3. And minus the penalties, you're looking long and hard for goals that he scored in open play. He did score it, and he got them back level. And that was the high point of the night, otherwise, for Barcelona. Final score, 1-1. Considering the campaign of utter tumult that Real have had, the fact that they could end up third on the last fixture before Christmas and still be in the Champions League is something of an achievement for a coach with little top-level experience. Now watch the reaction, or lack of it, of the Real Madrid defence. Benayoun completely unmarked. And another headline waiting to be written about further demise of Real Madrid. Racing hadn't won since Numancia on the 7th of November. Real have had 2 disappointing draws in a row against Sociedad and Villarreal. Michael Owen, about the smallest thing in the penalty area. A huge leap. Zidane's free kick headed there by Javi Garcia. And Owen with another goal. They're racking up now, 6 all told, and he's pushing Ronaldo, who acquired an injury overnight, and some cheekily suggested it was so as to extend his Christmas holidays a little. Now, the joy for Owen and his team didn't last too long. 16 minutes, Javi Guerrero with his 5th of the season, defending once again an art that this particular variant of the Milan, or the Madrid squad rather, haven't quite mastered yet. A wonderful cross coming up here from Luis Figo, and Raul touching it home for only his 3rd goal of the season so far. It had been a big week for David Beckham. He'd actually just conducted his first ever interview in Spanish on Spanish television. It was Real Madrid TV, but he still did it. Now watch this from Nafti. Casillas followed it all the way, made it look perhaps a little bit more spectacular than it needed to be. And it looked like we were cruising for a 2-2 draw until in the 92nd minute, Figo's caught up Morientes and Zidane with only his 2nd of the season. And when you talk about underachievement, Zidane, Figo, Beckham and Raul, over £100 million worth of talent, have clocked up just 10 goals this season. Final score though, 3-2. To the derby, 5th against 6th, Sevilla met Betis. These fixtures rarely produce high levels of excitement. 7 of the last 10 have been draws, a fixture that averages under 2.5 goals a game, and plenty of incident. The opening goal, 3 minutes in. Carlitos deflected it right into the path of Alves, who was almost pushed into position to score his 1st goal of the season. L'Opera revealing this week that there had been a £40 million bid from an English club, €40 million bid rather, from an English club for Joaquin. Reason why is because he's capable of doing things like this. 30-meter run from Joaquin, producing the cross, which is eventually converted by Fernando. Betis' form was better coming into this game, 4 wins in 5, including the infliction of the only defeat on Barcelona this season. Only 500 fans of the opposition allowed inside the stadium. Antonito was making his 100th appearance tonight. Would there be anything to celebrate? Now, 4 defenders, all in a line from that corner. Nobody taking it upon themselves to deal with this cross coming in here. Clears everybody. Finds Hesuli, who finds Javi Navarro. 2-1 in the 47th minute. It was almost going to be a spectacular end to this game. Assunção's free kick somehow kept out. Esteban Rivas couldn't score with the rebound. That's how it finished. 7th and 8th, and without doubt the two biggest underachievers of the season so far, Atletico and Deportivo. Irueta's team were a disaster in the Champions League, and only since the 13th of November things began to look up. They are unbeaten in the last 5 games. Antonio Lopez, though, putting the home side on their way on 26 minutes, and that is how it stayed. Well, the struggle at Mallorca continues. This time today they welcomed Carlos Moya and the rest of the victorious Spanish Davis Cup team, and there wasn't anything there to celebrate on the field. The struggle used to be at least an entertaining one. Now under the charmless Cooper, they're dire to watch as well, leaving almost everybody suicidal at the end of 90 minutes of watching this. Valdo with a volley on 39 minutes now. He produced virtually the same goal from a similar position moments later. Morales heads to Punal, and what about that for a finish? Better than the first one, 4th goal of the season. Osasuna were in the top 5 just 2 months ago. Now they're down to 9th. Last 3 meetings between these two all been draws, but there was going to be a winner here today. But it wasn't going to be the home side. They got a goal back late on. Pereira with the goal, his first of the campaign. Not going to be enough, though. Final score, 2-1 in Osasuna's favour. Well, Malaga's slide has been alarming. Just 5 points out of the last 30, including 6 losses in the last 7. Villarreal are far from being a model of consistency, but what a good start this was. Riquelme's free kick to Peña, 2nd goal of the season for him, but just look at the poor reaction on the replay of all of the defenders. '66 minutes. Riquelme from 25 metres out as the bounce deceives Calatayud. Don't concede many goals, just 12 goals in 16. What they do need, though, Villarreal, is a lot more sharpness up front, and that's what they had today. Now, Diego Forlan hasn't been an overnight sensation here, but he's no laughing stock either, and he'd be involved in the final move of the game, which was to bring a 3rd goal. You can see him involved in the build-up here, just looking to try and time his run. There he is, just peeling off his marker. Now the run coming into the penalty area is late, but it's seen, and he's picked up. And he scores 7th goal of the season for him. The final score, Villarreal 3, Malaga 0. Well, these two teams are going absolutely nowhere unless their form alters radically. 13 times these two between them had lost this season. Both could find themselves drawn into an early relegation fight unless they do something. Ezquerro did on the 53rd minute get his 6th goal of the season. Now Bilbao had already hit the bar. Ebreloa had a penalty that was saved by Luis Garcia after Milito had pushed Dieste. We didn't see any of that, but we do see a 2nd goal coming up. 79 minutes have gone. I watched to see yet another keeper today making a complete fool of himself. Ezquerro rounds Luis Garcia and gets his 7th goal of the season. Zaragoza last home win in this fixture was back in 1998. The omens weren't particularly great, were they? And to finish, Real Sociedad stand rock solid in mediocrity. What a double save that was. Risco would reach his high point in this game on the 50th minute when he produced these, because he wouldn't last the full 90. Well, mediocrity, though, that's better than what might have been. Recent seasons, they've been struggling until very late on in the season. Now, Getafe worked very hard, the newly promoted team, to actually stay in contention and not immediately get relegated. 69 minutes, though, Sociedad went in front. Nihat, who had a great season a couple of years ago, but has faded badly over the last 2 seasons. Only his 5th goal of the season. All the hard work from the away team was finally rewarded. 13 minutes from time. Pacon is fouled by Risco. It was a clear trip. And if you didn't see it then, you will see it on the up-and-coming replay. Now, they would send a goalkeeper on. Alberto would come on to replace Nihat. And the first thing he had to do was try and save a penalty. Pernia from the penalty spot, though, would score his 2nd goal of the season. And it gave us a final score of 1 apiece. There we are then, confirmation of the results. It's a busy week in Spain because there's another fixture night before Christmas. On the 22nd of December, Real Madrid plays Sevilla, Barcelona home to Levante, and Valencia against Espanyol. Should be a cracker there. Barcelona 9 points in front. Real Madrid, though, do have that game in hand, so it's still not quite over yet. Season in Eredivisie, it's been one of the most closely contested for years. Heerenveen began the day 6 points off Ajax in 3rd, breathing down the neck of Hullit's Feyenoord, and they had real aspirations. Now, what about that for an error? Van den Busch had to make the foul on Romano Dennebu, and the penalty was given away duly. Now, Neeskens had been fired in the beginning of the week. Wasn't a surprise he was off at the end of the season anyway. Villa with the opening goal. Anicia just anchored above the relegation zone, and it's no real surprise on the form that they showed really in this game overall today. 16 minutes, Harala's ball in, and Berg Hestad making it 1-1. A little more misery for Van den Busch. Dennebu's strike. And in the end, he gets back to score as well. And he was involved in everything creative, as he nearly always is. Dennebu beginning the move, and then a real comedy of errors at the back. As Heerenveen just couldn't clear the ball, a lot of standing around doing nothing. And I mean, it's almost laughable to think that these are getting paid as professionals, isn't it? Seek deflects and beats his own keeper. Hazard then with the cross, 91 minutes. Mika Varinen with the finish, 3-2, but it was too little too late. It was dire, really, from Heerenveen today. Final score 3-2. Well, Hullit's first season back in charge, and feelings mixed about the results. For every success, i.e. Kalou, there seems to have been 2 failures in Saidi and Basto, to name a few, and today there'd be another big failure. Ouden with the opening goal for ADO Den Haag. And despite the successes in Europe, the fact that they're into the knockout stages of the UEFA Cup, it can't hide the fact that they do suffer sometimes alarming lapses in concentration. Mitiglia with the back pass, and then again more comical defending. Pollack with the second goal. Well, any lingering hopes that they were about to mount a serious challenge for the title in the new year completely extinguished here today. Final score 2-0 to Den Haag. Well, Ajax have been quietly gathering some momentum in recent weeks after what can only be described as an unfulfilling season so far. Wesley Sneijder from Babel's ball. 8 points was the gap between them and PSV at the start of play. Ajax in third position. That would narrow to 5 after today. Groningen have taken just 3 points from the last 36 against Ajax. Trabelsi for Rosales and Rosales for Nicolai Metea. Back to full fitness and back to worrying every defender to death when they come up face to face with him. Player of the match, though, Ryan Babel. He's 18 years of age, and he looks to have been another jewel that's been uncovered. And they always seem to be at this time of the year. Remember Sneijder last, or a couple of seasons ago, Nigel de Jong as well. And Babel celebrating his birthday with goal number 3. Again, the counter-attack, and it all opens up in front of him for the young 18-year-old who shows a remarkable coolness there to make it 4-0 and make himself the new hot property in Amsterdam. So this winter season was about to be finalised, and for Hiddink and PSV, commendations all round. Qualified for the knockout stage of the Champions League for the first time ever, played 16, won 13, but it was all going to go wrong. Alex was sent off for that foul there, and it never got any better. Everything went wrong tonight for just about the first time this season. Koning fouled again, this time by Van Bommel. And what about this? Bodnar made them pay. Only 8 goals conceded up until today. They got that clean sheet record that they stole off to Ajax, who held it for some 33 years. Roda, though, were unbeaten in 6, but nobody was talking much about that, or the fact that the last time they came here, they won. And they were going to do it again. 10 minutes from time. Cristiano's shot, or pass rather, to Sergio, and 2-0 and a night of real celebration for Roda. They couldn't quite believe it. A totally new emotion for the PSV fans. And what a celebration it was going to be. Coadriance's team, a collection of the top 3 cast-offs and a few homegrowns, and an inspirational Barry Van Gaalen, were to end the winter campaign as the unofficial champions. 24 minutes gone. Nellis pushes the ball into the goal. It did cross the line, despite the protestations that went on long and hard. Roosendaal had had pretty much nothing go right for them this season. And it was difficult to see from that angle, but it did go in, it did count. AZ 1 up. And once they go in the lead, they rarely have ever let anybody back in. Ramsey ended up for Denny Lanzat, who might find his way to Amsterdam in the winter break when the transfer window opens. He's a target for them. Whether or not they let him go is unlikely. Who's more likely to win the title, AZ or Ajax? And it's hard to imagine as well that Coadriance would countenance the move to Ajax. The former Ajax coach, of course. Well, they are serious title contenders, aren't they? And who's to say that they're not going to go on and lift that title? We say it every week, but of course, for those of you that don't watch every week, AZ Alkmaar were the last team outside the top 3, PSV, Feyenoord and Ajax, to actually win the title. That was back in '81. Confirmation then of those results. Good victory as well there for Vitesse, who continued their good form in this winter campaign as well. Totally transformed team from the one that struggled so badly. And there we are. Makes great reading if you're a fan of AZ Alkmaar. Top of the table on goal difference from PSV. Down at the other end is a scrap right to the finish. RBC and De Graafschap, not much to choose between them. They're both pretty horrendous.
We go to Portugal after the break. Braga beat Boa Vista. Benfica joined Porto on top. And to France as well, all the goals, 7 of them. The thriller of the Abbé Deschamps. To Portugal, and at the start of play here, just 2 points separated Setúbal in 6th and Leiria in 7th. A real chance for one of them to go into the winter break with outside hopes of pushing for a European place. No goals here for almost an hour until Jorginho's volley gave the home side the lead. The major turning point here came a few moments later when Leiria's Helton brought down Sandro. The goalkeeper then saved the penalty from Bruno Moraes. But according to the referee, he'd moved before it was kicked and would have to face the kick again. No worries, he saved it again. Leiria then stole an equaliser. What a shot! It dipped just about in time. Did the weather help it? Leiria care. Saiso with his 2nd of the season. A real swirler, and it saved a point. Well, Boa Vista's brief stint at the top of the table is over almost before it began. The 2001 champions dropped to 3rd after this abject performance against the Braga team, who pulled to within a point of them with this comfortable win. The scoring opened as early as the 2nd minute when the midfielder Luis Loureiro notched his first goal in 11 months. A nightmare start for Boa Vista got even worse on 12 minutes when an own goal put them 2 down. It's one of those that's going to be played and played and played again over. Thiago. His face is red as Santos' suit after that. Goalkeeper hadn't exactly positioned himself ideally either, had he? Awful moment for Boa Vista. The club from Porto had won 3 of their first 4 matches away from home, but have drawn nothing but blanks since. This scoreline may not quite have matched the 6-1 drubbing at Sporting, but disappointment-wise, right before Christmas, this is right up there. 3rd notched by Nabil Baha for Braga. The Moroccan's first Superliga goal. It sealed a comfortable win. Braga move up to 4th place in the table. Sorry performance from Boa Vista. With 3 wins in the last 4, Penafiel were the informed team coming into this one. Benfica's 2 defeats in 3 had dropped them to 3rd, but more worrying was the sour aftertaste left by last week's 4-goal humiliation at Belenenses. Trapattoni demanded an improvement here, and although the performance wasn't necessarily up to what he was looking for, the outcome was. Benfica won this with a single goal scored midway through the first half by the Brazilian defender Argel. Benfica had another goal from Carlitos disallowed, but one was enough. A 1-0 win to set themselves up perfectly for the opening of the 2nd half of the season, ushered in the Lisbon derby against Sporting on January the 9th. They've had their troubles this season, but December has been some month for FC Porto. Through in Europe, crowned World Club Champions last weekend, and they end 2004 on top of the Superliga to boot. The Intercontinental Cup, won on penalties against Once Caldas last week, was held proudly aloft at the Dragão before a routine win over Moreirense. Manic from Luis Fabiano's cross got the only goal on 25 minutes to erase the memory of 2 straight home defeats in the league. It's been troublesome for Victor Fernandez, following in the footsteps of Jose Mourinho. But Porto finished 2004 where they started it, top of the table. Elsewhere, some rare cheer for Nacional. They lifted the gloom somewhat by beating Belenenses. The other Madeira side, Maritimo, were held at home by Rio Ave. Gil Vicente got 2 late goals against Estoril. So Porto, the winter champions, just though on goal difference from their fierce rivals Benfica. Boa Vista a further point back. Moreirense and Academica level on 12 points at the bottom. Beira-Mar in the relegation spot, the other relegation spot at halfway.
What a weekend in the Premier League. Where was the match of the day? Could have been anywhere. Birmingham, Chelsea, Manchester United, or could it have been Tottenham? 5-1 winners against Southampton. Man of the weekend must have been Jermaine Defoe. Sven-Göran Eriksson watching on as he hit a hat-trick. At the top, Chelsea still lead. Arsenal had to thank Sol Campbell for a goal in a scrappy performance against Portsmouth. And Everton remain in third. Down at the bottom, it's looking pretty sorry for Brian Robson of West Bromwich Albion and Southampton as well with Harry Redknapp.
To France then, and Strasbourg edged out Rennes to pull clear of the relegation zone just in time for Christmas. Just the one goal settled it. Ulrich Le Pen's free kick, and Cedric Kanté headed in his first ever goal in 5 seasons playing in the top flight. For he and Strasbourg, the celebration started a week early. After that awful autumn run, which had seen them winless in 11, Lens have peaked just before the winter break. This win against Bastia was their third in the last 4 matches and came courtesy of the former Le Mans striker Daniel Cousin. His first came from Jérôme Leroy's cross after 35 minutes. And so did his second. Again, it was the former PSG man who lofted in the centre from the corner kick. Again, the Gabonese international Cousin scored with his head. Bastia did grab a goal before the end to make things interesting. Ney's corner, Hadji's touch, and Tony Varel pounced. Ironic, really. Varel was a player in the Lens title-winning team back in '98, but his goal unable to alter the complexion of this one. It finished 2-1. It's been a year of 2 halves for PSG, but at least they finish it on a winning note after Metz were dispatched at the Park on Saturday. Mehdi Maniri put through his own net for number 1 6 minutes before the break. Insert your own Christmas presents coming early gag here. That's how it stayed until the hour mark, and PSG got a second. A foul by Allegro right on the edge, just inside maybe, on Fabrice Pancrate. Man for the job, as ever, Paoletta, moving to the top of the scorers' rankings in France with 9. He may not have been pitch side due to his recent ban, but Halilhodžić was no doubt enjoying. Cream on the cake was added 16 minutes from time by the wonderful Pancrate. He's been such a hit since arriving from Le Mans, his 5th goal for the Parisians. With this result, PSG equalled their best run this season of 2 straight wins. Can they repeat the heroics of a year ago and find some consistency once Christmas is over? It took them a while to refine their feet in Ligue 1, but Saint-Etienne are really cooking now. Natalie Boat's team unbeaten in 7 after plundering a win at bottom club Istres. Julien Sablé, who scored against Metz a couple of weeks ago with his 2nd of the season. The free kick opener, 31 minutes gone. Right on the stroke of half-time, the error was forced and Saint-Etienne moved forward to score a second. Frédéric Mendy, the Senegal international, who's not scored all season. Got one last week in the 5-0 demolition of Caen, another one here against another promoted team. Saint-Etienne winning by 2-0. Nantes coach Loic Amis is still hanging in there. An ultimatum from the Nantes board 2 weeks ago left him under no illusions as to the improvement required. Really entertaining game this against Sochaux. Nantes took the lead, 20 minutes gone. Nicolas Savinot. He really is on borrowed time, the Nantes coach. Hadn't won in 9 before this. Defensive frailties exposed again when Sochaux found an equaliser in the 27th minute. Corner kick from the left-hand side, woeful marking A soft header too, in truth, from Ilan. Well, with Nilmar at Lyon, young Brazilians are making headlines this season. Ilan is another. Again, awful defending. You can see why Nantes are in such dire straits. Goal on a plate for Ilan. After his hat-trick against Rennes in October on his league debut. He'd gone through a bit of a barren spell since, after that initial spate of 7 goals in his first 5 matches, but back to scoring form here with 2. That was close to an equaliser. Thulan's shot. Sochaux unable to clear it, and it fell to Emers Faye. Really well executed low volley, just 4 minutes from the end, and it's just about enough to keep Loic Amis in a job. Nantes have not won in 10. They have to be grateful for small mercies. This halted a run of 5 straight defeats, and it finished at the Beaujoire 2-2. Toulouse go into the winter break on a high thanks to a comfortable win at struggling Caen. The team from Normandy were completely outplayed in the first half, but Toulouse were only able to find the finishing touch on one occasion. Akil Emana with a goal after Rankovic's miss for Caen. This was the opener, 27 minutes gone, and Saume, just 19 years old, scoring his first goal for the senior side after coming up through the Toulouse youth ranks. The points were sealed midway through the second half. Ebondo, good wing play on that occasion. Then an excellent header from Moriera. Caen to be heading for a speedy return from whence they came, namely Ligue 1. Toulouse, morale-boosting win before Christmas. Well, Monaco suffered disappointments, dropping to 4th in the table after being held at home by Bordeaux. The Monégasques had won their previous 3, including the demolition of Deportivo famously in the Champions League, and were flying, but not for long. 8 minutes gone here. A fabulous cross by Julien Faubert was knocked in by Jean-Claude Darcheville. Remember him? He'd not scored all year. Underlying just how much Bordeaux used to rely on him before that bad knee injury. This was one of the most open matches in France this previous weekend. Monaco got an equaliser before the break through Mohamed Kalon. In the build-up, it was Chevanton and Maison. Kalon's the top scorer with 7. 13 in all competitions, though, for the Sierra Leone player. Bordeaux looked a little ragged after that. Monaco could have won it. Saviola forcing the save from Ulrich Rame. Even later still, and the 1-2 between Saviola and Zikos, and then the ball across for Chevanton. How did that not go in? Frank Jurietti takes marks for a fantastic last-ditch goal line slide there. But still, Chevanton would have been expected to score. They did have another opening. It came just a minute from time. Saviola did bury it. Chevanton was standing offside. All the top sides in France have picked up this drawing habit. Monaco thought they'd shaken themselves out of it after wins against Bastia and Rennes over the last 2 weeks, but this stalemate was their 8th in 12 matches. The weekend's big winners with us, Auxerre, who stole up into 3rd spot when they emerged victorious from a 7-goal thriller with Nice. That was Baumont's volley after just 5 minutes. It rather set the tone in terms of excitement, despite the rain. Nice were reduced to 10 men before half-time. Victor Agali on René Bolf. 2nd yellow. The Nigerian striker was off. And almost straight away, They were made to pay. René Bolf with the header. His first goal since day 2 of the season. The second half was only 3 minutes old, though, when Nice found an equaliser through Sami Traoré. His third of the campaign, and this ushered in a remarkable sequence of scoring. Within 7 minutes, Auxerre had retaken the lead, a viciously bouncing effort from Benjani. Got that pile driver winner at Marseille, the Zimbabwean back in form. But no sooner had that gone in, there's a goal at the other end. Sagna's foul on Rude, and Mahama Faroua, the second penalty in as many games, after scoring from the spot against Ajaccio last week. Quite some week for Bonaventure Kalou. The Ivory Coast international scored those 2 vital goals in the UEFA Cup at Ibrox against Rangers, and he got another here. Akali with a little dink in. Kalou with the goal. His younger brother Solomon making a name for himself just over the border in the Netherlands. Bonaventure doing the same in France, his 5th of the season, but sure enough, 3-3, Olivier Echouafny. It's his first of the season. Only for Auxerre to then score within another 2 minutes. It's another dipping shot from Benjani. It went into the opposite side of the net this time, and we'd had 7 goals in 17 minutes. That's Benjani up to 6th for the season. Auxerre are up to 3rd in the table. Well, game of the weekend, on paper at least, came at the Gerland, with table toppers Lyon welcoming Philippe Troussier's resurgent Marseille. The visitors stunned their host by racing into a 3rd-minute lead. Awful defensive misjudgment from Eric Abidal, bounced on by who else but Peggy Luyindula. The second attempt may be, but he had the sweetest of goals against his former club. Lyon deserved to get back into it, and they did. 39 minutes gone. Viltord, was excellent, made it. Govou scored it. Second half was a tight affair, could have gone either way. Lyon with an opening here with 25 minutes to go. Govou, Jeremy Gavanon, look at that, how close was that to a nightmare moment? Just claimed it at the last possible second. And then Marseille could have nicked it. 73 minutes, Pedretti, and what an opening for Demetrius Ferreira. But the header went straight at Peterbois. Confirmation of the results from this last French match day before Christmas then. Lyon are the halfway leaders, but in each of the three previous seasons when they've won the title, interestingly, not once have they been top at this stage. And unless they put a run together early in the new year, they're going to be heading back to Ligue 2. The 2 Corsican sides down there as well.
Time then to play the game. Now, top 3 goals coming up from this week, but this is what was produced last week by Kone. 37% of the vote. A Roda player. What a week it's been for Roda as well. The team that destroyed PSV at the weekend. And that incredible record, and this is how it looked close up. Wonderful piece of skill by Kone to leave the 2 defenders dead in their tracks. Nice to see they made an effort to get back and make a challenge after they'd been beaten. And this is what it looked like when they were facing it. One of those really enigmatic players that you find in Holland that have usually always had the education of one of the top clubs, Ajax, Feyenoord or PSV, before not having the consistency to actually make it. But there are moments in games just like this where they can step up a gear and are capable of producing instant magic just like that. And so from this week, this was Mika Väänänen, just about the only thing that went right for Heerenveen. Off to Portugal, Kakio. See that ball move? It was unbelievable, wasn't it? But he didn't half catch it. In the game, Braga, Boavista. Braga's third goal. Seems to be Portugal is where all the good goals coming from this week. Here's another one, Baha. Didn't look in the same league as the other two, but then it's up to you to make up your minds. Plenty of prizes to be won. You can vote via text or online. You know the rules by now. Usual address, Eurosport.com. There we go. /Game Zone, or you can text GOAL 83050 in the UK, 82060 if you're in Germany. And so there we are. It's been a busy year, and it's now come to a conclusion. Eurogoals will be back very early on in the new year. For the moment, though, from me, Tim Capel, and from Andy Bobfish, bye-bye for now.